ReefBum is sponsored by Bulk Reef Supply and Ecotech Marine.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. So I get a lot of questions about how I've achieved such fast growth in this peninsula tank. So I wanted to take you folks through the top things that I believe are contributing to that growth. But before we do that, if you want to help support the channel and pick up some SPS frags, you can do so at reefbum.com. And with that, let's get into the video. So one big part of the success for this tank, I believe, is due to the lighting. And I'm using 6 of the GHL Mitras, the LX7206 units. Now the spread front to back on these fixtures is 28 inches, and on the sides it's 30 inches. So when you consider my tank is 72 inches long by 36 inches wide, 6 fixtures with that kind of spread for each fixture, that's a lot of light I'm pounding the corals with. Now, I did that by design. In terms of the par, I'm getting about 300 to 350 near the bottom of the tank and close to 500 near the top of the tank. Now, another cool thing that I got going on with these lights is the spectrum. And I'm using a spectrum that mimics 400 watt 20K halide bulbs. And a lot of you know that I love metal halide lighting. I'm still using it on some of my tanks. It's always giving me some great growth and colors on the corals. So I think it's kind of cool to be able to incorporate that with these lights. Another big reason why this tank has been so successful is elevated pH. And I'm using the Chris Meckley method of kalkwasser dosing. I've got kalkwasser in a 30-gallon drum with RODI water, and I'm dosing it via dosing pump. What I'm doing is I'm trying to replace what I evaporate on the reverse light cycle. So overnight I'm trying to dose what I'm evaporating over a 24-hour period, squeezing that into like a 12-hour period. So my pH, and I'm using the Captivate Aquaculture kalkwasser, and it's very pure, very happy with it. But my pH on the low side is 8.2, and on the high side it's 8.4, even sometimes 8.5. So I think in terms of the growth of the corals, the elevated pH is a big, huge factor. Number 3 is strong flow. I've got a lot of flow cranking in this tank. I've got 4 MP40s and 2 MP60s from Ecotech. And yeah, it's cranking in there, man. Let me tell you, it is really moving. I had started out with only 4 MP40s, and on the end of the tank, I just wasn't getting the amount of flow that I thought was necessary. The polyps really weren't moving that much on the SPS, the frags that I had started in this tank. So I decided to add 2 MP60s. But it certainly is helping, and there was no way I could do this amount of flow in this tank. It's a peninsula tank with a sand bed. I've always had sand beds in my tank, so this is a bare bottom tank, and I just could not see a way around that in terms of using sand in this tank. I knew that it would have to be bare bottom because I really wanted to have that strong circulation on all parts of this tank. So that was certainly a challenge at the beginning, figuring all that out. But now that it's all dialed in terms of the flow, I can certainly say with the 4 MP40s and the 2 MP60s, plus I've got 2 return pumps going on in this tank, all of that flow, the SPS are really pretty happy. Another big contributing factor to the success of this tank is using Captivate Aquaculture salt and trace elements. Now I used to use Instant Ocean, and that's a good salt, but batch to batch, I didn't find it too consistent. I always had to dose a lot of magnesium, potassium was on the low side. So with the Captivate Aquaculture salt, I don't have to worry about that stuff. Every batch seems to be spot on in terms of those key elements. I am also doing monthly ICP testing. I never did ICP testing on a regular basis. I did it maybe once or twice a year, but now I'm doing it on a monthly basis to make sure that I could dial in the trace elements. So I'm also dosing certain Captivate trace elements, and with the ICP testing, it's great because Chris Wood from Captivate Aquaculture has a spreadsheet, and all you do is you get the test results back, the ICP test result, you input the values into the spreadsheet, and it spits out recommendations in terms of how to adjust the trace dosing. So I certainly think the salt and the traces, dialing it all in with the ICP stuff, has helped big time with this tank. So the last thing I want to say is that I did mention a lot of companies in this video. And yes, there is a material connection between me and these companies. But what I will say is that I sell and farm corals for a living, and I would only use what I believe would be the best products for my corals. I believe in high quality stuff. I don't use a lot of different brands. So I just wanted to be out in the open about this, and that I only use what I truly believe in, and I've turned down stuff, believe you me, to use in my tanks that were offered up to me for free. So yeah, I'm very loyal to what I use and what I like, and I would not use something that I think would be an inferior product on my system. So I just wanted to be upfront about that. With that, I'm going to end the video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Until next time, be safe and be well. Later.